The news continues in West Africa, where history has been made in Senegal with the swearing-in of Diomaye Faye as the country's new president on Tuesday. The 44-year-old swept the poll at a first-round victory on a pledge of radical reform just 10 days after he was released from prison. News Centre's Akede has details on this report.
Devant Dieu et devant la nation sénégalaise.
Having never before held an elected office in Senegal, the left-wing Pan-Africanist Bassirou Diomaye Faye has now taken the oath of office to be the 5th president of Senegal. In front of several dignitaries, which included presidents of several African countries, the new president vowed to scrupulously observe the provisions of the constitution and the law and to defend the integrity of the territory and national independence and to spare no effort to achieve African unity.
Sur le plan africain, l'ampleur des défis sécuritaires et des nombreux défis que nous devons relever nous oblige à plus de solidarité. J'entends clairement la voix des élites décomplexées qui disent haut et fort notre aspiration commune à plus de souveraineté, au développement et au bien-être.
Faye was among a group of political opponents freed from prison just 10 days before the March 24 presidential ballot under an amnesty announced by former President Sagal, who had tried to delay the votes. Working with his populist mentor, Ousmane Sonko, who was barred from the election, Faye declared their priorities in his victory speech: national reconciliation, easing a cost of living crisis, and fighting corruption.
Le peuple sénégalais s'est engagé.
Faye wants to leave the regional CFA francs, which he sees as a French colonial legacy, and to invest more in agriculture with the aim of reaching food self-sufficiency. After 3 tense years and deadly unrest in the traditionally stable nation, his democratic victory was hailed from Washington to Paris via the African Union and the European Union. And on the international stage, Faye seeks to bring military-run Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger back into the fold of the regional ECOWAS bloc. In Lagos for News Central, I'm Akede.
And to further discuss these, I'm joined live on the news by activist and political leader Moriba Cissokho. Good afternoon from here. Glad to have you join me, Moriba.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
I mean, what's the mood like in Senegal following Faye's swearing in?
Thank you for having me. It's joy. It's joy because now it's true. It's true because Macky Sall left. The president palace. He moved to his like personal house. And Diomaye is now our 5th president. It's a joy and hope also because we see how the youth was mobilized. For the inauguration ceremony. We were invited. And it was celebrated. Differently. Usually when it was like inauguration ceremony, that was some dignitaries. Some old people who was invited. But that's the first time that we saw that the youth was like really representative, in that ceremony. It's also a hope because we see how the ECOWAS countries, from Nigeria to Gambia, to the Guinea was represented also. We see how important, those presidents give to this, to the youngest president who is Bassirou Diomaye Faye. It's joy and hope because. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, please. You go ahead.
It's joy and hope because in his speech he was clear that he will be fighting against injustice. He will support human rights, but he will make Senegalese live in a very good condition.
Okay, what would you say stood out for Diomaye Faye that led to his victory during the election?
I think if you see the way that things happen, we were, I don't want to say only Diomaye, but we were ready. We were ready to make the chance. Everybody was surprised, by the fact that, Senegalese decided in the first round, And if you see, the way that he took, from the prison to now in the president palace, you can understand what I used to call what we didn't say. There is something that Senegalese didn't say is we know what we want. When it's time, we know how to do it.
Well, Senegal is reputed to be the only African country that has never had a coup. Africa and the world indeed is watching with keen eyes. What reforms should we be looking forward to as Faye takes leadership?
Yes, I think reform, the first is to reform the justice, We spent 3 years of trouble, 3 years of protest, 3 years of arrestation, 3 years of taking people, sending them to jail because the regime was controlling the justice. What we really need, I think, in our country, as I can say, is, make sure that justice is doing the right job. What that mean? It means people will feel themselves safe to move, safe to entertain, safe at least to walk outside and express themselves. Expressing themselves also goes beyond politics. It could be in an economic way. It could be in an entrepreneurship way. That's, I think, the first thing that you have to engage, but also engage with the youth. At the end of the day, we have 70% of young people who are waiting for something. And I think that something is job. We need job. We need to feel ourselves in a country where we have equal chance. Equal chance, when I say equal chance, I'm saying equal chance because we know our economy in our countries are controlled by Western, industries or businessmen. We need from the new president to empower our local businessmen, to give them the chance, to deal with those who are controlling our economy and make sure that we can succeed in a country, and not only Senegalese, but all African can come, like Dangote, like anybody can come and invest in our country and succeed as those French or US citizens or British are succeeding in our countries.
Now, following your line of thoughts about the youths, I mean, the support of the youths no doubt played a huge role in electing President Faye, beyond him himself, being a youth. But what other factors you think made the youth give him so much support?
I think the fact is, Senegalese, they don't like someone who are not doing justice. I think the first fact is we all know that what Macky Sall did was not justice. That's the first thing that we support. And the second thing, I think it's the speech, the narrative that Sonko, who is the mentor, and Bassirou Diomaye, who is from the same political party, the speech that they have and what they call the project, which is the project, they show us like if they are in a power, they will make Senegal for Senegalese. They will make Senegal also for African. And I think that what we were expecting, years and years from Macky Sall that he didn't did. Because we know also all our economy, our system are controlled by French, and I think that's why, we just want the death of the system. That's why we are supporting him. We are from the civil society. We are activists. We are known by not supporting a political personality. But today we are proud to support Bassirou Diomaye Faye because when he succeeds, it's all the youth of Senegal that will be succeeding. But beyond the youth of the Senegal, it's the youth of the Africa, the West African who will succeed. If you see those guests who came, to the inauguration ceremony, you will see that he's the youngest. And it means also change can be made by the youth in other countries. It can be made in Ghana, it can be made in Nigeria, it can be made in Guinea, in Mali, everywhere where the youth are the majority, change can be made. And from the change, maybe we can hope what we expect.
Well, beyond the message of change, in hindsight, what are the lessons for Senegal or even other African countries and the world at large?
The lesson is, I think, be humble, humility, and fight. At the end of the day, if you don't fight for your right, you will never have it. You know, if you see the way that he take from the prison today, he's the one of the powerful man in the country. It's mean that without fighting, without suffering, without struggling, nothing can happen. But I think also the message is we are the revolution. You know, we are the revolution in different way. If we believe that, you know, in our country we can make change. You know why I'm saying it? You know, we have different experiences. You know, when the country was in a really trouble, we traveled. We went in some countries. Some of our friends, they are refugees because they run away. But those who stay for 4 years fight today, they show that, you know, change is not something that is given, it's something that you have to take. And you have to take it by any means necessary if you are a young people and you believe in yourself, in your country.
Well, thank you so much for your time on the news, Moriba Cissokho, activist and political leader. Congratulations to you and the rest of Senegal.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.